Hey, look, best day of my life is the day that I found out that God was real. All throughout my childhood, I heard about God, but I didn't know about God. I didn't experience God in the ways that were personal enough to where I would trust God. And the more the years progressed, the more I thought I was in this life by myself. And so I was trying to do everything myself, always coming to dead ends, always ending up believing and thinking that I was a failure. Now, I don't feel that way now. And there were moments in those times, yeah, I felt that way for a while. And then something inside of me told me, get up. You gonna quit? You're okay with failing and staying there? So I would get up, I'd think of a different plan, and I would try it again, all by myself. And once I got into a life that seemed like I couldn't get out of, more of that weight just kept jumping onto my shoulders. And what did I do? I got depressed, I got down, I felt like I didn't want to live anymore. And I thought there's nothing else in this life that I can do. Like, I have constantly failed at everything. And I understand that to some people that may be looking at my life at the time, they didn't see all the stuff that I was going through. And maybe they wouldn't consider those things a failure. But I think early on in my life, the stage was set to where I would become this great success. And because it wasn't happening, I felt like a failure. And it wasn't until I was 24 years old, the lowest point of my life, I understood why I was failing. I gave my life to God when I was 24 years old. I said, and it wasn't as simple as that, right? But I got to my lowest point in my life and realized that I had never really trusted God or believed or opened myself up. Honestly, open, surrendered, say, hey, God, if you're real, I will serve you. I said, if you're real, save me, because of the state that I was in. And when I was in that state, I felt such a dark cloud over me that I had never felt in my life. But a cloud of failure, if you will, a cloud of doubt, a cloud of understanding that I have nothing figured out in this life. And when I said, God, if you're real, save me, all that went away. I can't explain it. I can't explain it in human terms anyway. But there was that day that God made himself very real to me. And I don't know who might be hearing this and saying to themselves too, you know what I'm saying, I've never heard or I've never believed in God. But the point of what I'm trying to say here is I had to get to my lowest point. Me, not saying you do, but I had to get to my lowest point before I realized that I hadn't tried God before. Like, truly, 100%. Here I am. I'll give my life to you if you show me that you're real. I did that. He showed me. And here I am, so many years later. But I thank God for that opportunity. I don't know how many of you might be dealing with a similar circumstance or have had a similar experience. But I just wanted to say and come on here real quick and say that if you give your life to God, like truly, just surrender that thing right over to him, he will come through in a way that you would never imagine. And it's been a rough ride. It's been a roller coaster. A roller coaster. But here I am, alive, well. I have joy in my heart. I got good friends. I got family. And I have a bigger family in God. And I don't worry about death. I don't worry if I had this thing figured out or not, because God has it figured out. Anyways, put your faith in God. Reach out to him. You don't have to say it like I said it, but open yourself up to believe and for him to show out in your life. God bless.